Hey guys, here is section 10.2, where we're going to be talking about the area of regular polygons and circles. Alright, here we go. So here's some formulas that you must know, starting with one that you already do know. The area of a circle is pi r squared. And you already know you got to have that radius to find the area, so that's old news. We'll also talk about circumference and how that's the distance around the circle, and that can be found by either doing 2 pi r or pi times d. So those are things you already know. Here's something you don't. Regular polygon. So regular means that all the sides are congruent and all the angles are congruent as well. Well, in a regular polygon, any regular polygon with any amount of sides, we can find the area by using the formula 1/2 the apothem, little a stands for apothem, multiplied by the perimeter. The big P stands for perimeter. Cool. So you guys know how to find perimeter. It's just the distance around the polygon there. And I give you a little hint over here. The perimeter is found by doing the number of sides times the length of the sides. So N represents number of sides, where S represents the side length. Alrighty, and then the apothem is a new word for us, and here's a little description of what it is. It's a perpendicular segment that goes from your center of your polygon to one of the sides, and it's perpendicular, goes straight to that side there. So this would be your apothem. Cool, so we'll just do that apothem multiplied by the perimeter divided by 2. There's your formula. Alrighty, this first batch of examples deals with the circle. So the first question says, find the area and the circumference of a circle in terms of pi. So I know my area is found by doing pi r squared, and my circumference is found by doing either pi times the diameter, pi times the diameter, or 2 times pi times the radius. But since I'm given the diameter here, I'll use pi times d. So looking at this circle, I really should kind of figure out what my radius is. If the diameter is 6 inches, then my radius, which goes halfway, must just be 3 inches. So that means my area is equal to pi times the radius, which is 3, squared. 3 squared is 9, so it's pi times 9, or 9 pi. It's area, so it's inches squared. Now my circumference is found by doing pi times the diameter, and the diameter is 6, so my circumference is just 6 pi inches. Cool. In example 2, it says find the radius, and we're given the circumference. So this is one of those where you're working backwards to find the radius. So since it gives us the circumference, let's start with the circumference formula. C equals, and which one should I use? Well, since I'm looking for the radius, let's use C equals 2 pi r. Let's plug in all the stuff that we know. We know that the circumference, so let's replace this C with this expression. 65x plus 14 pi. All right, it says 2 pi, and we also, we're looking for r, so we're not going to replace r with anything. So that looks good. We're gonna solve it for r. So let's do a little bit of algebra. Let's start by dividing both sides by, you know what, let's go ahead and divide by 2 pi, so we isolate that r. When I divide it by 2 pi, the pi's will cancel out. And on the right, the 2's cancel out and leave me with r. And on the left, I have this expression divided by 2. So I've got 65x divided by 2. And half of 65 is, oops, let's fix that. Half of 65 is 32.5. So it's 32.5x, and then half of 14 is 7, so plus 14. And there's the expression for your radius. And the units was meters, so it's this many meters. For number 3, we're trying to find the circumference, and we're given the area. So this one's going to require a couple steps. So I can start with the area formula, and since they give me the A part of it, I can work backwards to find out what R is. And once I find R, I can use that to find my circumference. So that's what I'll do. Let's start by plugging in the things that we know into this area formula. It tells me that A equals 16 pi, so I'll replace A with 16 pi. And now I can work backwards to figure out what R is. I'll start by dividing by pi on both sides to get rid of that. And now I have R squared equals, and the pi's cancel out, R squared equals 16. Cool, one more little step here. I need just R by itself, so to undo the square, I'll use the square root. And R equals the square root of 16, 4. Nice. So now that I know that R is equal to 4, by working backwards from the area formula, now I can use the circumference formula and figure out what the circumference is. So C equals 2 pi R. Replace what we know. C equals 2 pi times 4. 2 times 4 is totally 8. So my circumference is 8 pi, and the units is millimeters. Awesome. Now number 4, that kind of combines the last two problems that we did. We're given the area, and we're going to work to find the circumference, but this one has an expression with x's in it. So very similar to like a combination of number 2 and number 3. We'll start with this area formula. Area equals pi R squared. And let's plug in what we know. We know that A equals 25x squared pi. And we don't know R, so we're going to be working to find that eventually. I can start by dividing by pi on both sides. So now I have R squared by itself on the right, and after those pi's undo each other, I've got 25x squared. Undo the square, I'll use the square root. And R equals, the square root of 25 is 5. And the square root of x squared is just x. So I found that the radius equals 5x. So now I can find the circumference like they asked. C equals 2 pi r. Plug in what we know. We don't know C, but we do know that r is 5x. 2 times 5x, the circumference is 10x pi. The units is feet. Alrighty, in this example, we're going to find the area of a regular polygon. It says find the area of a regular pentagon. So I'll go ahead and draw a pentagon with an apothem of 4.6. So remember, that goes from the center of our pentagon perpendicular to one of the sides. And a side length of 7.2. That means that all the sides are 7.2 because it's a regular polygon. Cool. Because it's a regular polygon, it follows the formula area equals 1/2 little a times a big P. Little a stands for apothem, and we have that. That's given to us right here. So we can plug that in. But we don't know our big P. So let's find our perimeter. And I know that you could find the perimeter just by saying 7.2 plus 7.2 plus 7.2 5 times, right? Or we could say that it's the number of sides multiplied by each side's length because it's a regular polygon. And this polygon has 5 sides, and each side is 7.2 inches. So let me punch that into my calculator real quick. 5 times 7.2, and I got 36 inches. So the perimeter is 36. So our area will be found by multiplying those numbers together. All right, and that is going to be 4.6 times 82.8. And because it's area, it's not just going to be inches, it'll be inches squared.